unto you.
Come on.
This generation shall not pass away.
This generation shall not pass away. Anybody see that, right? So he's stopping that order right there. His word already tell you one generation pass away, another but this generation that's around when these things start happening shall not pass away. Read on.
Till all.
Till what?
Till all.
Read on.
Be fulfilled.
Which means they're going to see the second coming of Jesus Christ. John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's speaking about them in unison, because, you know, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and being the Son of God, the Father, the Almighty, makes him God. You everybody understand that? God begot God, right? And people in this world, they talk about finite and infinite, and they can understand God, and you can't understand this because he don't beget because he's God. People don't understand God. You know people don't understand God because God himself told you that people don't understand God. Christ in St. John chapter 17 prayed to God the Father and said, "O righteous Father, the world have not known thee." Now, if it's coming out of the mouth of the Son of God, do somebody know who know their Father? Huh? Especially to somebody that knows everything. And somebody that knows everything is Jesus Christ, right? And what he said was, the world do not know thee. Then you go to St. John chapter 8, and you had, now these are religious leaders. These are Israelites now that was leading the nation of Israel, but they went off and became wicked. And the Lord our God sent out the prophet Malachi to prophesy against this particular priesthood. Under the Mosaic law, under the law of Aaron, which is known as the Levitical priesthood, with just the Levites being priests, and they became corrupt. So during that time, the Lord our God sent Malachi out, and the prophet Malachi, and stated to those priests at that time that the Lord was going to do, he was going to do away with that priesthood, that the priesthood needed to be changed, and because they wouldn't give honor to the name of God. So that's why the order of Melchizedek, that order is set up to make sure that the priesthood is trained. That's why you can't be in the order unless you train. The priesthood is trained to give honor to the name of God. Everybody got that, right? Go to the book of Psalms chapter 2. I guess my topic done started. Huh? I'm not taking no suggestions no more. Let's just finish fast. Psalms chapter 2. Go to the book of Psalms chapter 2. And start at verse 8. Psalms chapter 2, verse 8.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen.
Read it one more time.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen.
How many want the heathen? What you want the heathen for? Huh? What kind of occupation you gonna give to the heathen? Butlers and nurses, right? Right? Trying to sit in class, you need somebody to hold them kids, don't you? Yeah, right? I see somebody shaking their head like, yeah, you're gonna need somebody to hold their kids. Read Isaiah 60, okay? You know, that's what the prophecies and the word of God is all about. You know, our children is gonna be nursed, by, our side, which means somebody else is gonna be carrying them. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? So the Lord is saying, if you want the heathen, just ask. It's that easy. Everybody understand that? Just ask. How many of y'all ask for the heathen? No, you ain't. Yeah, right. You be asking for the heathen? Yeah, just ask. That's how the Lord put it. Just ask. Go to the whole lot and get the book of Revelations chapter 2. And in Revelation chapter 2, see, it's pretty consistent all throughout the Bible. It's the same message that God he was given throughout generations and time, because he's the everlasting God. He's the God that has always been here. He's the God that will always exist. So he don't change. He didn't change the message. And as people came back and forth into the earth throughout their generations, they had to relearn the message. Do everybody understand that? Because the word of God reapplies. So the message is the same. And the message has always been, ask of me and I will give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. That's always been the message. Everybody understand that? Abraham got that message. Jacob got that message. Isaac got that message. Jacob got that message. The 12 tribes of Israel got that message. All the kings of Israel and the judges of Israel got that message. All the priests got that message. Jesus Christ came and gave the same message. And now it's time for you to get that message. Why is it time for you to give that message? Because you're actually living in a time where you are in the generation that's going to inherit the heathen. How many of y'all know that? How many of y'all know that? How do you know that? What prophecies? The whole, the book of the prophets is the prophecies. How do you know that? You ain't getting. No, I don't let you off that easy. I want to let everybody in here know that. You got to tell me something specific. What prophecies let you know that you are in a generation that these things are actually going to go down and that these things are going to take place in?
Matthew 24.
Okay, anybody else? I heard some of the chapters. That's good. Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna ask you a harder question. I'm gonna hit you with some new breakdowns. I always got some stuff up my sleeve. Yeah. Now I'm gonna ask you another question. What year? Hold this, and give me Ecclesiastes 1. Give me Ecclesiastes 1. Spirit is actually moving, so now y'all gotta disperse. Yes, thank you. Give me Genesis. Give me Ecclesiastes 1. They gotta leave because I usually swing and get wild, so I don't want to hit nobody here. I usually get wild up here when the spirits start coming down, but yeah, you might have to put the fire out. Actually, yeah, move the flames. Don't put it out, just like move it, yeah. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, let's look at that. And start at the first verse. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1. Start there, please.
The words of the preacher, the son of David.
Who was the preacher? Everybody. Who was the preacher? Why was he known as the preacher? Because he was teaching the wisdom of God. Everybody got that? Everybody got that, right? Where did Solomon get his wisdom from? Where did he get it from? He found out he could get it where? No other place. So he had to ask, it took wisdom and knowledge to know exactly where to get wisdom from, and it came from God. So speaking the words of God, whenever you speak in the words of God, that's known as preaching. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? Him being called the preacher don't mean that he actually stood in the midst of a congregation and was teaching classes. Everybody understand that? But everybody came to Solomon to hear everything that Solomon had to say, and everything that he had to say was of God, because the words that he was speaking was the words of God. Everybody got that, right? Okay, read that one more time.
The words of the preacher, the son of David.
The words of the preacher, the son of David. Read on.
King in Jerusalem.
Okay, read on.
Vanity of vanity.
Read on.
Saith the preacher. Vanity of vanity.
Come on.
All is vanity.
All is what?
Vanity.
All is what?
Vanity.
Read on.
What profit have a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away.
Okay, read that one more time.
One generation passeth away.
Read it again.
One generation passeth away.
Read it one more time.
One generation passeth away.
Read it one more time.
One generation passeth away.
Okay, when I do that, there's a point there, and I want to make sure that you understand that there's a point. The point that we're going on is it's talking about generations leaving this earth. When somebody call you and God forbid and tell you somebody has passed away, what does that mean? What does that mean? So God is talking about people dying in generations. Everybody understand that? That's what he's talking about. Generations die in the same time period because they came in the same time period. Everybody understand that? And if they live their life expectancy, then you can't go past that point. It's going to be time to go out. Everybody understand that? So one generation passeth away. Read on.
And another generation cometh.
And another generation cometh. Everybody see that, right? So while one generation is going out, there's another generation being born in. Everybody understand that, right? A continual cycle. Read on.
But the earth.
Read it one more time.
But the earth.
Read it again.
But the earth.
Read on.
Abideth
Come on.
forever.
Okay, so the earth is going to always be here, which means that people is going to always be inhabiting the earth. There's always going to be generations coming out, and there's always going to be generations coming in until the time of the end.